Okay, now we're recording. So what I've got here is a lovely picture of Britney Spears on her comeback in 2016. Now she's like crashed again, right? So what the assignment is to use a Bootstrap grid system. We're going to put some images in here with rounded corners. We're going to space them out. We're going to put some drop shadows on them, and that's it. So what I've done is this is to follow on the Bootstrap kind of introduction video I did before. I've got this grid system laid out, and all I did here was I dropped an image file into the tag. And of course, the image is way too big. It overflows the div. It's a mess. So kind of the trick of what I do on these things is, I put some control in there, right? So I'm going to cut that, and there's a couple ways you can do this, but mainly is you're just going to keep piling more divs on here. So I'm going to put another div in. I'm going to make my own, and I'm going to call this Jeff's. I'm going to give it a class, and I'm going to call it Jeff's image holder, and I'm going to close it. So there it is. I'm going to come up and we'll give it a little styling just to make it look cool. Dot Jeff's, there it is. Whoops. Dot Jeff's image holder. And I'm just going to give it a background of black. Okay, if I come up here, it doesn't show because there's nothing in it, so I'm going to actually give it a height too. I'm going to give it a height of, say, 100 pixels. There it is. Awesome. Looks like what I'm seeing here is little red banners on the sides. And oh, look. Well, there's my pick text. All my text, it has little space on too. So one of the things that Bootstrap does is it automatically gives you some padding inside the div because it makes sense, right? You want it to look good. And so Bootstrap is helping us by giving us this little bit of space next to this padding. So I'm gonna get rid of that because I'm doing images here and I want to have some control over that. So I'm gonna just go back to my column and say, look, make the padding 0. Okay, now it fills the thing. Ooh, something's going on there. What's up with that? Okay, well, we'll deal with that in a minute. I'm a little nervous here that that's not a good thing. Okay, so I've set my padding. And what I can do now is in my image holder, where are we? Image holder, here we go. I can go back, I can put the image in there. But remember the trick, we want to drop shadow that image and we want to round the corners. But you can't really do that on, well, you can do it on an image tag. I don't think you can do round corners on an image, apply that style of border radius to an image. So what I have to do is do that to a div. So I'm going to have another div inside it. Actually, do I have to do that? Let me think about this. No. So now I can put my image in here. Well, there's a couple ways to do it. So I'm going to do it the first way, the wrong way. Okay, so there's my image. Oops, I see what I did. Oops. There we go. So there's Britney. Still, same problem, right? Her image is going at 100%, and I don't want it to fill that. So I'm going to come back and tweak the style here. I'm going to say, look, if it's inside Jeff's image holder and it's an image tag, set the width to 100%. Okay, so you see what I did? I just said, make the image, if it's an image and it's inside one of my classes, set the image with the width of the image to 100%. Okay, that doesn't solve our height problem. So I'm going to go out and get more images, and I might find an image that's a nice portrait shot of her or a panorama, and all those images won't be the same. It also doesn't help my rounded corners, I don't think. Let's see if I can do. Let's give it a 20 pixel rounded corner. Did it work? No, because the image is still inside my rounded, so if I come back here and say, look, give this a border of 2 pixels solid blue. There it is. So you can see, I know you guys are, it's hard for you guys to see this on the, out there, but what you're seeing is, I'm seeing a blue right here, and then the blue disappears because it rounds behind the picture. The picture is actually overflowing my div. So here's the long story short. I'm totally handing this to you guys. What I do is I make that image a background in the div, and then I've got some more control over it, a lot more control over it. And it also gives me the advantage of I can start adding text in the div on top of it. Wake up, Ruby. That's immortalized on video. Okay, so I just wiped that out, and there it is. Ooh, look at that. Things are starting to go south in a hurry here. Why is that? I think it might have something to do with my border, but maybe not. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Nope. Nope. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is we're going to put Brittany back in here. I'm afraid I actually deleted something I didn't need to delete. All right, let's go undo. Yep, see this extra div right here? There we go. Undo is your friend. Okay, so now let's let's take this class here, this Jeff's image holder class, and we'll put that background in there. So I'm going to say background URL. Background image, and I'm going to say URL. I always have to look this up, but I'm going to give it a try to do it from scratch. Hey, man, what happened? Background image, URL, friends, close it. And let's go get Brittany again. Where are you, Brittany? I'm right over here, Mr. McCall. She's like my age, right? Hey, Siri. She can't hear me. Okay, so I put that image in the background and the image URL. Did it work? Didn't work. Got to go look at the syntax. First thing we got to figure out is how old is Britney Spears? She's 35. Okay, she's my age. Ground image CSS. The code's right. Looks like it's right. Background image. Poof. Okay. Oh, moron. Guess what? How does code execute? Top to bottom. Set the background and then made the background black. So, and there's Brittany. Okay, so she's there. You can see it's an image, but you can barely see it, right? Because her image is like massive, it's filling it. So now what we're gonna do is we've got some control. We can control the background size, the background repetition, how it performs in the div. So let's go back and go to, come on, Dreamweaver, help me out. Give me some code hints. Background, origin. So where does that sit? Background position, background repeat. Let's start with background size. So I'm going to say, I think it's contain. I'm going to try contain. Bam. There it is. Cool. This is so hard to see here, isn't it? This is stupid whiteboard. So now, I'm going to let you guys go to sleep. Okay, is that better? So now Brittany she's got rounded corners. There's a border there. I want to get rid of that border. All I really need is a little padding, like 5 pixels. Nope, not padding, margin, sorry. And we've got some space. So then, of course, you can figure out how to do a drop shadow. It's just CSS drop shadow on a div. Look that up. Height. So I can, because this is a div, I'm cropping this, right? I'm actually saying, look, this div is 100 pixels high, and I'm forcing it to 100 pixels, and this goes in here. So I'm actually cropping her image. Let's go back to the original photo. Pretty close. So this is pretty close to being the right aspect ratio. But if I wanted to come back here and say, look, make the height 200 pixels. Oh, we got an image repeat in there. I don't want it to repeat. What I wanted to do is I wanted to expand. So I go background, repeat. And what do I want to do? I want to say no repeat, I think. And I think, you know what? I think I got this wrong. I think I want this to be cover. There it is. Okay. So now, no matter whatever size I set of the image, it'll grow to fill the image. And so it's actually still, it's all filling out to the corners. There's no corners there, but you see what it's doing. It's cropping. So you've got some problems there. There's also an origin, a background origin property. You can play around with the placement of that. The other cool thing here is I haven't touched my div, right? Where are you, Britney Spears? This was at the awards ceremony. Great. And so now I can actually lay text over the top of that. I can lay other image elements, whatever I want, make it a button. So I've got a lot more control. Search engines, I don't know about search engines, how they would perform or how they would, if having an image in the div background versus having the image in the foreground. Because I mean, Google's going to come and look at all the images and go, all right, this is important, this is not important. It's going to try to evaluate your page. And so if you've got a whole page full of Britney Spears images in the background versus actually using the image tag, I don't know how Google deals with that, right? So that's search engine. I'm not, we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so a couple things. So let's just walk through this then to finish this thing up. Go back to our sketch. We've got these 2 really big photos on the sides here. They go all the way to the bottom. Well, how do I make these 2 images go to the bottom? I'm just going to give it a class, a subclass. And so where is my column 2? Just going to click on that, I guess. There it is. And I can just call this tall. So I just gave it another class of tall. And then I can come up here and say, look, in my tall class, and actually I don't need this anymore, dot tall, make the height, I don't know, 800 pixels. Okay, so now there's my how tall my side is. And so if I want to say, look, I'm going to have this whole, I want this all to be a nice, pretty square block of images. I can say, okay, these are 200, that's 400. I can go 2, 4, 6, 800. This is 800 already. Now the images are going to match up at the bottom, match up at the top. All these images will be the same because I'm setting the height of the div to 200 pixels and letting the image fall in the background. Now, again, you're going to play around with the cropping because the crop will get a little weird. And you also have to look at your scaling. So let's really quickly, and then I'll call this done. Yes. What happens? So this is starting to scare me. There's a little bit of breakage here. When we get into responsive. So now when I go to responsive, she's still 2 pixels tall, right? 200 pixels tall, but she's the width of the browser now. And so the crop changes a little bit. So you may have to play around with that as well about saying, okay, when it, if you use the @media tag, I mean, you get more and more complicated. I'm not going to make you work on that, but I want you to be at least thinking about it. It's like, okay, what happens when the page breaks down to mobile size? And it gives us kind of a list there. All right, I'm going to stop recording so you don't have to watch a 2-hour video later. And everybody say goodbye. Say goodbye. Bye. Here we go.